Prior to 2014, most of you would have no idea who flies this flag. But with the brutal beheading of journalist James Foley in August 2014, this flag and the group who flew this flag came to infamy. This is the flag of ISIS. ISIS has declared war on those who oppose them and their radical ideas. The United States is actively engaged in fighting ISIS along with its NATO allies and the Kurdish rebels. If people ignore how this group came into existence, the same mistakes will be made and possibly give birth to another radical jihadist group. Today, I'd like to discuss the radical terrorist group ISIS. We will discuss its roots dating back to 2004 with ties to Al-Qaeda, the group's rise to infamy, and the current state of ISIS and what is being done to take care of the radicalist group. Let's go back to Afghanistan circa 1979. The Soviet invasion of 1979 spawned ISIS as it is today. According to the BBC, the Russian invasion caused some 35,000 jihadists to join the Afghan Mujahideen. The invasion gave these radical terrorists, known as Mujahideen, a purpose to fight Westerners. This war played a major role in setting up militant training camps, which would later become known as the Taliban and Al-Qaeda. The CIA trained and invested millions of dollars into training the Afghan fighters in the proxy war against Russia. If the CIA had not stepped in to fight this proxy war against Russia, the Mujahideen, Taliban, and Al-Qaeda would not have grown into what is known today as ISIS. The CIA trained these guerrillas, which would later become leaders of Al-Qaeda and then transition into leaders of ISIS. Abu Musab al-Zarqawi was a significant player in the rise to ISIS. As a high school dropout, he decided to join jihad in Pakistan. After serving 15 years in jail, he met with Osama bin Laden and Ayman al-Zawahiri in 1994. Although bin Laden and Zawahiri did not necessarily like Zarqawi, they saw potential in him and made him a militant training group leader. At this training camp, he met Abu Abdullah al-Muhajir, the author of the Theology of Jihad, the soon-to-be manifesto of ISIS, according to PBS. The invasion of Iraq in 2003 re-energized Al-Qaeda after the bombing and invasion of Afghanistan. The U.S. intervention in Iraq disempowered the Sunnis, creating massive resentment and causing more jihadists to dig in. Zarqawi came out of hiding and in a matter of months organized deadly and brutal attacks against the United States and NATO allies in Iraq. After countless provocative attacks, Zarqawi took the oath of loyalty to Osama bin Laden and his group to become the official Al-Qaeda sect of Iraq. Zarqawi's death led to the announcement of his predecessor to IS, Islamic State in Iraq. With the death of Zarqawi came Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi stepping up to lead. In 2014, Baghdadi proclaimed he was now Caliph Ibrahim, commander of the faithful and leader of the newly declared Islamic State, according to the BBC. Now that we have some background information, let's talk about the group's rise to infamy. ISIS infamy grew bolder and more brutal as they became more well known. ISIS became a household name after 2014 beheading on YouTube. The group was becoming known brutally beheading journalists and aid workers. In 2015, ISIS released a video of Jordanian pilot Moaf al-Qasaben being burned alive in a cage, according to the BBC. Photos of a man being thrown off a roof of a building to his death circulated, bringing ISIS to more infamy, claiming they threw him off a roof because he was a homosexual. ISIS grew bolder, claiming responsibility for terrorist attacks in other countries. ISIS has claimed responsibility for hundreds of attacks throughout the world, including attacks in Paris, Brussels, and Florida, some of the more notable attacks around the world. ISIS has also destroyed numerous historical sites and artifacts throughout the Middle East. They have destroyed Iraq's Mosul Museum and Mosul Public Library, as well as various churches, temples, mosques, and shrines have succumbed to ISIS destruction. With this much attention, something had to be done. ISIS is now much weaker today than it has ever been. The United States has been conducting airstrikes against ISIS since 2014, conducting 9,000 airstrikes with NATO partners. ISIS has lost a significant amount of territory in Iraq, and several leaders have been eliminated due to these airstrikes and special operators on the ground fighting alongside Kurdish rebels. Now that we have a better understanding of how this radical jihadist group came to be, we can use history to combat them and other possible groups from following in their footsteps. Those who do not learn history are doomed to repeat it. This is why it is important to understand the roots of ISIS and how we can combat further radical jihadist groups.